Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Let's go ahead and open it up for Q&A. You can unmute yourself or type in. Go ahead and fire away.
Kind of quiet. I mean, maybe do a protocol and then
Okay.
see if questions come up.
Okay, let's do a protocol then. Um,
And if any questions come up in the process, feel free to, type it in and
Give me just a second here. Okay, let's do this. Let's treat sinus issues. So single oils, eucalyptus, lavender, lemon, neoli, peppermint, pine, thyme. You can also use sinus support. You could also use rosemary, rosemary verbenum, basil. I think that's probably enough
yeah,
choices.
probably. Yeah, I don't think I don't agree either.
I'm sorry, did I talk too fast? You know, we're kind of coming into cold and flu seasons. It's always good to do a little tune up on this area, and we can also do a little treatment at the same time. So this would address thick mucus, this would address inflammation, this would also start to address like colds and flus, especially heavy mucus in the sinuses. Anula, I left anula out.
Okay. See if I can.
Terebinth would be another one. I hope you guys are getting all nice and ready for Thanksgiving. And this is usually quite a quiet week.
Yeah, so just grab any of those
Yeah,
oils.
any choice. I think we're good to go.
Yeah.
Okay. So first off, let's just have you begin inhaling. You're not necessarily even focusing on anywhere in your sinuses or in your face. You're just taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. So inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. And then pause and begin inhaling. And your awareness is between the eyebrows, like here, right between the eyebrows. You're inhaling. Your awareness is on the ajna, the area between the eyebrows. Taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Now, the next area, like if you can see, like right about where the bottom of the cheekbones are, like if you go directly down from the eyes, the bottom of the cheekbones, inhale with your awareness in that area. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. And now go up to the temples, like the side, the head right there, the temple area. Long, slow, deep breaths with your awareness on the temple. And then go to the jaws where they hinge in front of the ear. Nice, long, slow, deep breath into that area. Mm. And now your ear canals, the holes in your ears. Your awareness is there. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Now let's drop down to the throat, like the center of the throat. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Keep working the throat. Remember that when we did the lymphatic 7 class with the neck, part of the issue with like stuffiness in the nose and sinus pain is actually this rope-like muscle, which there's actually two parts on each side of your neck. And so lantana could also be augmented in the treatment for this. The more that you take tension out of that particular muscle, known as the sternocleidomastoid, the more that it actually reduces the potential for stuffiness in the nose. The other issue is, it doesn't seem like the jaw would be a big deal, but there are certain trigger points in the jaw muscles, especially when you open up your mouth and you go kind of back deep into the mouth and you touch those jaw muscles. They're so tight that they actually kind of will burn a little bit. Like if you touch them, it feels like a burning sensation or burning feeling. It's just because the nerves are so sensitive in that area, and that will cause stuffy nose, like congestion, but especially if it's related to travel, like airplanes or changing different weather conditions. Like if you go somewhere where it's altitude and then you're more at sea level, or one area is cold and then one area is not so cold, or one's hot and one's cool. It doesn't matter what it is. It's just the variations can cause sinus related reactions. And so just even treating the areas that we did and then the throat and then dropping down to the throat minor, just by going through and doing that can be incredibly helpful in treating sinuses. So keep inhaling with your awareness on your throat. And I'm going to keep talking as you're inhaling. Another thing to do with sinus when there's a lot of stuffiness is take a few drops of lemon verbena daily. A couple drops in water, you drink it. I'd even do it 2 to 3 times a day, but it's not going to be an immediate effect. It's not like you're going to take a couple drops and 15 minutes later you're going to go, oh, I feel amazing. But what that does is over a period of time, that really changes the dynamic in the sinuses. Rosemary and rosemary verbena, both are cephalics, so they move blood towards the head. And what you're doing is you're increasing circulation in the mucous membranes of the sinuses. And a lot of times when we have stuffy noses, part of what's happened is the circulation in these areas has diminished. And when you end up having like a sinus infection, even when, say, the doctor gives you antibiotics, a lot of times it takes 2 or 3 rounds of antibiotics to go through and treat this, because the mucous membranes don't really have the greatest blood supply. And so it takes longer to treat. Then, if you look at it from the point of view, a lot of times, even if you're looking at travel related sinus issues or just sinus issues that come with weather changes or allergies, there's still a component associated with stress. And, it could be very much just a physical stress. But by going through and treating with rosemary, verbena, basil would work as well. You're helping to reduce the stress levels, even down in the gut. There can be stress that rises up and gets stuck in the sinuses, and so all of that can be very helpful. So we kind of have hit these particular spots, but let's also drop down to the bottom of the throat and inhale on that area. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths with your awareness on what we would call the throat minor. You're still taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Awareness on the throat minor. Now let's move our awareness to the back heart. Your awareness is on the back heart. And then your awareness is on your front solar plexus. Your awareness is on the front solar plexus. Hmm. And then your lungs. Your awareness is on your lungs. Do we do back solar plexus? I don't think we did. Do the back solar plexus. My apology. Back solar plexus, the mid back area below the shoulder blades. Now move to your lungs. Your awareness is on your lungs. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. And then go up into the sinus area up in the face. Where do you feel some pain? Where do you feel heaviness? Where do you feel tension? Just like we do body awareness things, do body awareness, but on the face. Like, where do you feel it? If it's even a little bit deeper than the face, go in a little bit deeper into the sinuses. Wherever you feel it, put your attention and awareness there, and then take long, slow, deep breaths. And then just be still. Now, you would keep working that, do several cycles of that, but you kind of get the idea of, you're hitting these particular areas and you're unwinding different aspects. The reason to go to the back heart is, for one, it's a big influence on the respiratory tract, and even deeper, it has an impact on the lungs. It also helps with lymphatic movement and things of that nature. In the front and back solar plexus, you're reducing stress in the digestive tract and in the energy body. So that also reduces some of the potential for sinus issues, um, by the reduction of stress. And so, you're kind of doing several things, but by going through and treating this particular pattern, um, especially repeatedly, if you have stress related sinus issues, travel related sinus issues, time of year related sinus issues, or it's just a thing that flares up from time to time. Who knows why? This should really have some sort of impact on any of it and all of it. One of the oils that is one of the better oils for mucus is anula. Right? Anula is very good for breaking down the mucus, slowing down the production of mucus, expelling it out. Terebinth is very good for drying it up. Like, so if you just have like a runny nose, terebinth can be helpful. Sometimes what we use when the nose is like running like a faucet is angelica, and I find that you need to take it a few drops internally to go through and treat that. Um, if the nose is really backed up, like, it just feels like somebody took a pillow and shoved it up your nose and it's turned into mucus, it feels like, so much stuff is up in your head. Use something like thyme, so, any form of thyme, black pepper, even rosemary. You want to increase circulation so that you can get it moving and be able to blow it out of your nose. The longer that you have a lot of thick mucus in your nose, the greater potential you have for a sinus infection. And so we want to minimize that. And then something like thyme, for example, or rosemary will also reduce the potential for sinus infections. And if you're concerned that there might be a sinus infection, again, rosemary works, all the oils that we talked about, but one that's a little bit of a sleeper in this area would be bay laurel. Bay laurel is one of the best broad spectrum antibacterials that there is in the essential oil world. It's very good antiviral. It's very, very good um, antibacterial. And so, we just thought we'd lay these out for you and, help you survive the winter time as we go through this cold and flu season. So
For the sinus like pressure stuff,
Mhm.
what would be the application with the thyme, black pepper, or rosemary?
Inhalation. Like you don't even necessarily have to do a pattern with that. If you want, just kind of direct it up to the side, the ajna and the sinuses up above the eyes. But if you just start inhaling it, um, it'll make stuff start running. Yeah.
And welcome everybody who just came in. I see a couple hands raised now, and I have some questions in chat. Continue to feel free to type in the chat as well as raise your hand.
And you can see my teddy bear collection.
I actually blurred you out so they couldn't see.
Oh, yeah. There's a bunch of stuffed animals. We're traveling, so we're in a little makeshift little place to do streaming. You're missing out on the stuffed animals.
Yeah, they can see it.
There you go.
And then go ahead, Sonia, then Donita.
Hey, Sonia.
Has that therapist responded back yet for the?
We were traveling all day and our plane got diverted, and I haven't gotten my feedback under me yet. So I haven't even checked my emails and phone messages. So soon as I hear, I'll reach out to you through text or something.
Okay, and I keep getting like that pain in my heart chakra again. And is there still cords?
You do got it's not even that it's like a cord that you cut, it's like cords that you have to clean. And I think it's just the stuff with your family. So ironbark eucalyptus or you have the etheric cord blend.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so those people that we were talking about over the weekend that seem and feel a bit toxic, um, inhale the blend and think about each one of them one at a time. You don't have to direct it to the different chakras, but direct it to each person and then overall the whole situation. It sounds like it's a very difficult situation. So
Yeah, it's getting worse.
yeah, I was gonna say you just gotta keep doing it over and over again because it sounds like it was nasty.
And so there's still cords in my heart.
It's not that it's like a negative cord that you'd cut, but because you're all related and the situation, it's like cords that are between you because of the connection, they're very contaminated. So, even manually going through it and cleaning them with healing, using the oils is actually so much faster for cleaning that up. But I mean, I would clean it up regular because it sounds like you guys are in the middle of a pretty nasty dispute. So you just got to keep doing it over and over,
Well,
until it calms down.
There's some very dangerous things that have happened, and
Yeah.
somebody's going to get hurt.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you about that, but keep cleaning it up. Keep it so that you're able to make good decisions and handle yourself well.
And then go ahead, Donita, then Megan.
Hey, Miss Donita.
I have a question, and it's about a friend of mine. Her 4-year-old son got attacked by their dog last week, and he had more than 20 stitches on the face and ears, so it's lots of scars right now.
Yeah.
I know helichrysum, but because he's 4, so what can I recommend? Because she's looking for.
I would still use helichrysum. I would probably not do. I mean, you could do a little tiny bit neat, but you might even want to put it in like a little bit of like jojoba or aloe vera or something like that. Um, that's probably your best bet. It's going to relieve pain, it's going to reduce inflammation, and it will actually help the wound to bind and then reduce the scarring afterwards. And the other byproduct of it is it will help the child with the trauma of all that. That had to be super traumatizing for that child.
Yeah, and they put the yeah, it's the family dog, and they put the
Oh,
dog down.
yeah,
It's the whole it's not a it's
what kind of
very
dog is
traumatic for a
it? Big dog, middle.
big dog, big dog. Well, biggish, just for 4-year-olds, big dog.
Yeah.
And the dog was in the family since he was probably close to 3, so, and the child's about 4. So it was like most of his life. So it's traumatic on all levels for him.
I mean, I would probably do something that's also a little bit for like shock. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
normally we'd say like tarragon, but for a 4-year-old,
Yeah, that's why I'm asking, because it's a
um,
4-year-old. Plus the child doesn't speak still. So he doesn't speak.
like before this, he wasn't speaking.
Yeah, no.
Hmm. It's not necessarily for shock, but I think for this particular application, it could be helpful for that. And it would help with pain, and it would also help with the wound healing is myrrh. Like I would use myrrh on the child.
Neat or
No, I would probably either put a little bit in lotion and rub it on their chest, or put like a drop in water and then stir it up really well, and then give him like maybe a couple like tablespoons of the water at a time until the glass is gone, and then start over again. So you're basically breaking that one drop up, mm, maybe over a day or two.
okay, perfect. And still helichrysum on the scarring, because his
Yeah,
face
I still think
they
that's your best bet. Like, I mean, you could use Roman chamomile, but I think helichrysum is going to be a better bet. Um, I mean, you could even put a little bit of the myrrh on it just to reduce pain and to help the wound to heal, but it's not really going to address the scarring. And so helichrysum would be best for that. You know, yeah, I'm so sorry to hear that. That's
yeah, it was pretty, yeah, it's but there's a lot of, so I think helichrysum will
there has
help
to be a
also the
bunch of
mother.
trauma. Yeah, a
Yeah,
bunch
there
of
is a
trauma
lot
in
of
the
trauma.
house. Maybe
Yeah,
for the parents and stuff, the tarragon.
it's a single mother,
Okay.
so there is a lot of trauma already on
Yeah.
many
Yeah.
levels there.
Yeah.
And a
Sorry,
quick
sorry to
question,
hear. Mhm.
thank you. Quick question, the helichrysum you have on your website, the rollerball, is that weak enough for a 4-year-old?
Yeah. Yeah, you could do it like that.
So it's just easier to just get that,
Yeah.
and then they
Yeah,
can
that's
just
probably. And just do straight up helichrysum, you know. Yeah, there's a
what do you mean?
helichrysum,
Oh,
there's a
helichrysum.
helichrysum supreme, or just get the regular helichrysum.
Yeah. Keep it simple, absolutely.
Yeah.
And yeah, thank you. And another thing, I'm a little heartbroken today.
What happened?
Long story. I'll keep it short. I've been fostering kittens. It's a long story. And today I took them into the. I've never had this experience, and today I actually separated the mother, 6 weeks old, and I took them into the
Oh,
rescue. So I'm heartbroken. I've been crying all day. So,
yeah.
and even Gordon is it's just so, it's not easy.
No. Mhm.
It's not easy,
Yeah.
you know, and it's just, there's a lot of other aspects of things. So what can
But
I,
do you have a neroli?
Neroli? No, I have Neroli Supreme, I believe.
Yeah, yeah, that'll work out fine. Yeah. So
Okay.
this is what I would say about that. I mean, a couple of choices. One could be ginger lily, and one could be neroli. And ginger lily kind of helps with the transmutation of some of those like emotions, sadness, grief. Which, I mean, I can hear in your voice you sound a little sad, and or like you said, heartbroken. And so
I
that
can't
could be,
stop crying.
yeah,
It's just bringing up a lot of,
yeah.
yeah,
The
it's a
the
lot of my
thing,
own stuff, but
yeah,
it's
of
like
course,
triggering everything.
yeah. I mean, that's what life does. You know what I mean? And so, the thing that I like about neroli is, for one, it kind of helps a little bit with the shock of the situation. For two, it's activating to the heart, and it kind of helps to elevate the emotion a little bit. Like, so you're elevating out of the emotion of what you're feeling. And the thing with neroli is that it really helps with like understanding like the cycle of life, because the different plants, we work in different ways. But with the citrus, it has the leaves, it has the, which is the petitgrins, and then it has the flowers, which is neroli, and the blossom. It has the fruit itself, so the the skin that is pressed, and then the fruit also drops with the seeds in it to form, other trees. And so the idea with using neroli is it really helps one to like embrace like the cycles of life. And it doesn't mean that that's not a sad situation, but it just helps to temper it a little bit. And so you might want to go back and forth between ginger lily and neroli. I have found neroli to be very helpful in those situations. And actually, the neroli supreme, it has the different parts of the plant. So it's actually an even better version of it than just using the neroli by itself. And so that's the route that I would take for that.
Thank you so much. This is
Mm,
just way like, yeah.
yeah.
When it happened, it was, yeah, it's like
Yeah.
we're still in it, and it's like, oh, and the
Yeah.
mother is here.
Yeah.
So so it's just, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter, cat, dog, human, it's like you said, the
Yeah.
cycles of life, and it's
There
just the
was
letting go part.
there was a couple of times where when I was doing stuff out on the ranch with the alpacas where, either didn't happen very often, but either the baby would die or the mom would die. And it was just like, those were a rough couple of days.
Oh,
Even it wasn't even my alpacas, but it was just, I usually know them, and it was just pretty rough. And, you know, it's just hard to watch that sometimes. Like you said, your stuff comes up, but especially if you knew the animals and everything, how do you not get attached?
I mean, they were born in my office,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's like, we
right.
didn't even, anyway.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for this.
yeah. And you can always sit and just like do little prayers, or like blessings for those kittens that they find a home, and the mom and all that. But Om Mani
Oh,
Padme Hum is always good for animals.
oh, money. Okay, perfect.
Mhm.
Because I've been you know, when I put them in the carrier to take them with. Sorry, I'm just starting to cry because it's just,
Yeah.
I was blessing them and kissing them
Yeah.
as I was picking them up and putting them in the carrier.
Yeah.
And today was the first time that I saw Gordon tear up.
Yeah.
All you need is a bit kittens, and you get a big tough guy to tear up. But anyway, thank you so much,
You're
and
so
I'll
welcome.
do that. So just Om Mani Padme and
Yeah, Om Mani
blessing
Padme
them.
Hum, and think of the kittens and think of the mom, and that usually is helpful.
Thank you,
Yeah,
thank you. I so appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
you're so welcome.
And then go ahead, Megan, then Barbara.
Hey, Miss Megan.
Hey, Greg. I'm seeing my family on Thanksgiving, so I'm like, which health conditions can I try to treat when I go down there? And I love like the lotion and things that like they can just apply and I don't have to teach them anything. So the first one I just learned from my mom today. My brother's quit smoking, which is great, but I guess he is coughing like super, super bad. Like just a ton of mucus is coming up. So you just mentioned terebinth. I don't know if that's the best one. I have that.
So the coughing is like it's not smoker's cough where they have like a little chronic cough. It's literally like he's potentially gotten sick or at least
She
got a
said
bunch of
she
mucus.
started to wonder if he was getting sick, and so we don't know. But yeah, it's not a smoker's cough.
Yeah, I would give terebinth, but like just because he's stopping smoking, you might even want to go like a little bit down the route of like spruces or firs, fir balsam, um, something that's like a little bit like soothing, like it's fortifying and soothing, and when somebody quits smoking, their nerves are kind of agitated for a little bit,
Mm.
and so it would have a bit of a soothing effect, but still be helpful for treating the respiratory stuff. The terebinth would dry things up a little bit more. You might even need to go just like old school, like eucalyptus or something, and just kind of really open it up,
Yeah.
because the effects of smoking over a period of time, like sometimes the tissue is really constricted, and you might need to really open up the ribs, and that oil that was in the class over the weekend, the larch, even that could be kind of helpful
Mm.
for that. It would be soothing. It would kind of calm down some of the agitation in the body. It would relax some of the muscles around the rib cage.
Okay.
That could be helpful, and he could just inhale it.
Cool. Um, and then so that was the easy one. My brother also has schizophrenia, and I was thinking about something just calming and soothing, and maybe larch also would be, but like I already have rescue body tonic, and I like that. Do you think he would like
Mhm. Yeah, rescue body tonic could be good. Are you just trying to get him through the day, or you're trying to help him a little bit more long term?
that? I'd love to do all of the above. I don't know. What do you think is just practical, that just something soothing? He's on lots of medication and
Yeah, the rescue is probably a good body tonic to use.
okay.
Tarragon could be good. Even if you diffused it a bit in the space. Um,
Okay.
Benzoin could be nice.
Okay.
Um, um, but rescue's right up there with the tarragon. Like
Yeah.
so I mean, any version of that would
Yeah.
probably.
Okay. And then my mom
Mhm.
has had tummy issues, but she just got diagnosed with IBS. She can't have dairy, wheat, certain fruits. It's, challenging and difficult, and she just has tummy issues.
So let me look up, because I don't know that we even have it on the site, but I do make a thing for IBS,
Hmm.
and let me tell you some of the things in it, and maybe you can just even use some of that. And um, where I put it? Yeah. So the blend that I make is lemon, verbena, cardamom, ginger, peppermint, and there's this like funky basil that I use. Um, I would probably give her peppermint or ginger,
Okay.
just for, the holiday. The other thing that I like to use for IBS, and this would be a great kind of even long-term treatment for that, is not even an essential oil, but there is an herb, the herbal version of wormwood, not the essential oil. Like, the essential oil would be too strong for her to take internally. They
Okay.
get herbal capsules and have her take 2 or 3 capsules like twice a day.
Okay.
And it will calm down the nerves. It will calm down some of the loose bowel movements and the diarrhea. Um, it won't, like, if she's having periods of constipation, it won't address that as well. But like if you can start kind of normalizing it a little bit, it'll get better. That using like peppermint and ginger, basically like when you can get the diarrhea to calm down, then you start just treating it like a stress plagued digestive tract. So rosemary, anise, tarragon, peppermint, um, and is she like a person who stresses a lot,
Oh
or
my gosh.
yeah,
She's already called me
maybe
twice just to talk about beverages, and that's it. Just I know she's gonna call me at least 2 more times before Thanksgiving. It's stuff that nobody cares about. She's so worried somebody will have like a bad time, which we never do. It's just made up.
Right.
I don't know.
Maybe think of the tarragon or vetiver.
Okay.
Vetiver
Giving her
is,
vetiver. Yeah. She says she likes it. I'm like, use it a lot though, mom. Like a
yeah, so use it topically, but if you could even get her to like maybe take a drop or two internally, it would really soothe her gut. Like, it would really soothe her gut. And it would reduce her stress, because
anxiety.
like part of it, yeah, part of the thing with anxiety is that, there's different reasons, there's different causes, and sometimes it's just one and sometimes it's a bunch of different pieces. But one of the pieces that can cause anxiety is a lot of tension in the digestive tract, and that causes disruption in the autonomic nervous system, which then turns into, fight, flight, and anxiety. And so
Mhm.
the vetiver would be calming, soothing, help with stress plagued digestive tract, be relaxing, reduce stress. It would be all of the above. And,
Great.
there's also a little bit of a component with anxiety where the person's not grounded, if we looked
Mhm.
at it from an energetic point of view. And, vetiver is one of the best things for grounding a person. And
Mm.
grounding also means not just like you're, in a way, you're saying like it's a restorative to the homeostasis mechanism, and you're strengthening the basic, but part of grounding is regulation of the Ming Men,
Mm.
and which is that center. I mean, I know you know this, but I'm saying it for everybody. It's the center opposite your navel on the backside that controls the kidneys and the adrenals. And so by using the vetiver, it actually will help regulate the Ming Men, especially in these kinds of cases, and, very calming and soothing.
Awesome.
Yeah, so
Okay.
something like that could be very helpful for something like that. And, it, it, holidays are a thing, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
she hasn't
I,
hosted
I
us for a
laugh because
while.
it's, yeah, I'm thinking of my family, and I was like, ugh. you know, I've already gotten my weird messages as well. And
Yeah,
so,
she's just been through
yeah,
a lot of judgment in her life,
yeah,
and I think she
yeah,
for some reason has it on autopilot that somebody's gonna have like a criticism or and like none of us do, and but she's just like
right,
super worried and
yeah,
she'll be fine. Thank
yeah, yeah. Oh, good. Well, so will you be seeing her in person, or this is just
you. Yeah, we're driving down there, so
okay? Yeah.
I will give her, she likes Splendor. I was so happy. I gave
Oh,
her a
yeah.
bunch of
That would be
things,
another
and
one.
I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I hope she's using the stuff. I would go down and she would just have them in her medicine cabinet. I'm like, so do you like any of these? Whatever. And she's kind of, I don't know. And then one day I get a text message. Is there a limit to how many times I can inhale Splendor? No limit, Mom. No
Four,
limit.
4 million.
Enjoy. So happy. Oh my God.
Stop at 4 million. Like
Yeah.
4 million in a day. Anything over 4 million is a little too much, but under that, you're okay.
I know. I was so happy. So we got one. She'll do that.
Yeah,
So
there you go. Good, good, good. Well, happy Thanksgiving.
And
thank
then
you.
go-
Happy Thanksgiving.
And then go ahead, Barbara, then Sonia.
Hey, Barbara.
I'm laughing because I'm waiting for that question from my mom.
Right.
She'll do something for a little bit and isn't patient enough, I think, to use it long enough to feel
Yeah.
effect from it. But her stress at the moment's off the chart. It's not so much about the holiday.
Right.
I think it's fear of the status of her kidneys and not feeling like her doctor's listening to her concern and taking appropriate care of her.
Like
And
what's going on with the kidneys?
for the past 6 months, it just seems like her kidney function's deteriorating. Her GFR is dropping. She's got dilute urine, a lot of it. And she had blood work done a week ago before her physical coming up next week. And all the doctor checked was a blood sugar. Didn't do any studies on her kidneys. And my mom went through the roof, wants to fire the doctor and can't even get in touch with her. And it's eating at her, and she's so anxious and so
Did-
agitated.
Does she say like what stage of can't remember what they call it. They might call it kidney disease or like stage 1, stage 2.
She's told her nothing, and of course, my mom's imagining the worst. Or no, maybe it is 3A. I mean, it's not
Yeah,
dire, but
yeah, stage
it's more, seems to have come on in a fairly short amount of time, and my mom's thinking the worst, and she's so mad at this physician, and it's just eating her up, and I can feel her anxiety.
Mhm.
So I
Can we get her to put like lovage on her body, like in a body tonic or something, or
she's motivated to do something for her kidneys, so I think she might stick with something
Yeah.
like that.
so that would help the kidneys to eliminate, but it would also help the kidneys to function better. The other one could be parsley, but I would, either one. And sometimes when you're trying to improve kidney function, is she having any cardiovascular issue or any respiratory issue?
I don't think so, although her blood pressure's up a little from the agitation, but
Yeah,
she's
okay. That's kind of normal.
yeah,
Yeah. And so I would start with the lovage or the parsley, like in a body tonic is best. She doesn't even have to take it internally, but just, put it, it doesn't even have to be all over the body. She just rub it on her abdomen or rub it on her low back or something. But the other thing that maybe after you get her doing that is to utilize cordyceps, which is a mushroom that will help. It doesn't like stimulate processes, but it fortifies the kidneys in a way that either maintains the function or it can even improve the function. And I've used them even when the kidneys are just like they're not doing good, like where they're looking at a transplant, and I've used them even post transplant. I've given somebody cordyceps, and the only reason they did that because usually you don't give something like that to somebody post transplant because you don't want the body to reject it. But there was this big study that came out of traditional Chinese medicine back in China, where they had used cordyceps to treat post, um, ki- you know, and they get new kidneys. transplant, and they had a higher rate of success for the body to accept new organs, and the organs function better. And so it's something like when the kidneys really start not functioning well. If it's stage 3, given her age, it might not be. I mean, it's kind of almost like age appropriate a little bit, especially if there's blood pressure or blood sugar issues. But even if there's not, it can still just be kind of age appropriate. And so that's why her doctor's probably not like all Johnny on the spot with that. Is, it's a thing, but it's not, a crisis given her age. And so my personal opinion on that is, even if it's age appropriate, doesn't mean we can't make it a little better, and doesn't mean that we can't, fortify it, especially if they've been going south kind of quickly. It's like we got to do something to stabilize that. And the other thing that I would be curious about is fluid retention, and is she cramping? And if that's the case, then we would need to look at, normalizing minerals and things in her body, or at least getting her some magnesium in her body or something like that. But first I'd just try to improve the function with lovage. You could use lovage, you could use parsley, you could use orange healer. Any version of that applied topically should be quite helpful.
Thank you. She tried the cordyceps and she couldn't sleep, and she associated those two things.
Shouldn't do that.
I think that was perhaps her anxiety, but
Yeah. Sometimes when people start to have a little bit of a health issue, they'll start to get anxiety about it. I'd almost put it more towards that than, or, maybe she was just going through a weird sleep cycle. But, I wouldn't start with the cordyceps right off the bat. Let's just do the lovage, body tonic, or, one of the other ones. Get that kind of going. And then later you can reintroduce the cordyceps and see how that treats her.
okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Orange healer compared to lovage, because I actually bought some of that because she thought
Yeah,
her
you
lower
could totally
legs,
use that.
she
It's
thought
got
her
a
lower
bunch.
legs were starting to swell a little, and I thought that
Yeah.
would be good a solution.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I suspected. Yeah, orange healer's got a bunch of lovage in it. It's got parsley, it's got all the greatest hits when it comes to all that kind of stuff for the kidneys. And so I would just use that, just jump on that and use what you got right in front of you and get her using it, and just as consistently as you can. Like, if she can do it daily, that would be great.
I think she might, if she can connect it to the kidneys.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then for the agitation, is there just something I would encourage her to carry around and sniff when she,
Yeah.
or anxiety, kind of both.
Normally I would say something like maybe spikenard or vetiver, but I wonder if in this particular case something like mugwort or artemisia might be a little bit better. It just helps pull them out of the such like focus on the health issue. It shifts the mind a little bit so that they're just not as distracted by constantly monitoring the health issue quite as much.
And that would be inhalation?
Yeah, just inhalation. She can put a couple drops on her wrist, but inhalation would be probably plenty.
Thank you.
We were talking about Splendor could work, charcoal root cleanser could work, but I would go maybe just straight up mugwort or artemisia, but use what you got, like whichever one you have there, use what you got.
Thank you. And one last quick thing.
Mhm.
The secondary treatment for cholesterol, since the first one didn't work,
How long did you do it?
8 months.
Oh yeah, that's long enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's 2 parts rosemary verbena with 1 part Spanish sage.
Right.
Yeah, don't use any of the other sages,
No.
like Spanish sage. And then you can also augment with a little bit of like helichrysum. Helichrysum also can help reduce cholesterol. I don't find it's the best, like is the point of the spear, like the primary treatment, but it's very good for augmenting. Um, and like try adding that in with it. And then what was the dosage you were using? Like 2 drops a day, 3 drops a day?
Really, yeah, 2 to 3, I think it was.
Yeah, maybe even bump up to like 4 or 5, but you can split it up or do it all at once.
Okay. And is the helichrysum a separate piece or
I
mix it in the, put in
I
the mix?
I w- I would do it separately in like maybe 1 or 2 drops a day.
Okay.
Um, yeah. You know, there's another thing that we have used. I would do that first, but there was
The Google?
Google would be helpful, and then
Yeah, I
also there was a combination of
tried
carrot
that
seed
too.
oil, the carrot seed oil with rosemary camphor, which is a very weirdly specific type of rosemary, and that is actually topical, where you would apply it all to the abdomen and everything. Um, yeah.
And would you
And so
mix
that
these two things or those would be separate treatments?
no, the carrot seed and the rosemary camphor is mixed together, and I want to say it's I know it's a product. I just can't remember what it is. Let me look it up real quick.
And then would you choose between that and the rosemary verbena? Or could you
I
do
would
both?
actually, if you're not responding, I would kind of throw everything at it.
Okay. I appreciate this.
Yeah, let me look this up. Um, you remember what it is?
I actually didn't know you had it. No,
Yeah.
sorry.
I think I made it for somebody. And it might have been in one of the classes too.
That's okay. I can get back to you on that.
Yeah, even just send us like a private or not a private
Just email us at info.
personal product request,
Oh,
and
do
I'll
that.
yeah, and I'll make it for you. Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, it's pretty sure we have it somewhere, but I just can't remember. Now that's gonna bother me. I'm gonna be looking up all night, like,
He'll wake up.
yeah, I'll find it somewhere.
And then
Thank you.
for the cordyceps, would it be capsules? How would
Capsule,
that?
yeah, capsule, and you need to do 3,000 milligrams, which usually is about 6 capsules a day.
Thanksgiving blessings, everyone, and may all the Uncle Bobs behave.
No joke. I think we're gonna have to do a mass blessing on Wednesday night that all the Uncle Bobs behave themselves.
And then go ahead, Sonia.
Hey, Sonia.
You know, last spring, I looked on the screen and Peggy was on there, and she was dead, and I I looked away and blinked, and I looked back, and I could see that now she was alive, but I could also see her past, you know,
Oh,
and then so I figured you were working with her, you know, but
yeah.
like so I didn't. But then last weekend I saw another person dead, not in class. And what can one do about someone
Well, I mean, sometimes, you're able to help, and sometimes you're just able to help them potentially just maybe have a smoother transition. It's sometimes their time is just their time. And so, usually what I do is I do like prayers and blessings. I do like blessing down below their feet, and then I sometimes will do a little thing where um, I'll either decree a little bit of karma for them to maybe get better, or I bless an area like where there's conflict, like Gaza, for example. You sit and bless that area. The people who are potentially they're injured or potentially about to pass, and then decree that karma for that person to be helped. And so, yeah,
Is
sometimes those things are complicated. Like we have one birthday, but we have multiple death days, and sometimes no matter what, the day is just the day. You know. Yeah.
is is there a particular remedy that can, it's just an overall uh, fortifier?
Or, I mean, just the things I just talked about. Like I mean, if the soul's starting to disengage and pull from the body, it stops absorbing energy. It stops, like it just becomes a thing where you can't really do anything about it anymore. Yeah.
Well,
It,
this
it takes
person,
time. Mm,
it's something that is, they're not expecting and it's sudden.
mm. Well, hopefully it was just like a weird flash and maybe not accurate, but still do prayers and things like we talked about.
Well, it's happened before. About 6 months before my dad passed, I
Mhm.
saw it. I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, like
yeah,
my thing with Imaho, like not this year, because he passed in early October, but the prior year in the summertime, I had a dream that he passed in the fall, and I was like, ugh, I'm gonna make effort to go see him and everything, and then fall came and went, and I was like, oh, he didn't pass. It must have been some weird dream, and then the next fall came and he passed. So yeah, it happens sometimes. Yeah.
And go ahead, Donita.
Hey, Donita.
Hi, Greg.
Hey.
Since I'm here, it's like a lot of things that have been in the back of my mind. Well, not really, but um, first of all, I just wanted to say thank you so much for everything and for creating this time and for doing this for all of us. And
Oh,
I just wanted to
thank
say
you.
thank you. I took a lot of, when I traveled, when I went to see my mom after 4
Mhm.
years, I brought a lot of essential oils there in hopes that she would use,
Mhm.
and not just essentially, just a lot of body tonics and soaps.
Mhm.
She nearly had kidney failure many years. She's got a lot of
Yeah.
issues, health
Yeah.
stuff. And I just wanted to say thank you, thank you, thank you, because she is sniffing them.
Oh, yay.
She's sniffing them, and I can say that I had a come to Jesus talk with her. That's just a saying we have.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I use that too, like the come to Jesus meeting. Yeah.
Yeah. So she's inhaling, and so yeah, wonderful. And slowly, slowly, I'll get her into doing different protocols and such. But she also, being more present in her body, there's a lot of aches and pains. Her right shoulder, I got her to do an X-ray, and literally is bone on bone. So she's in agony all the time. Anything to,
Yeah, so I would give her galbanum like on the wrist multiple times a day, black cumin taken internally, and then the thing that you're really needing to do is stimulate lymphatic movement, but you might want to go about it with instead of just going right for the lymphatic movement, because when something's bone on bone, it is generating a lot of inflammatory material. And so I would say right off the bat, reduce the inflammation. So pain relief, inflammatory, blue healer, German chamomile, yarrow, milfoil, helichrysum, whatever she has or whatever you can get to her, apply that on the wrist like daily for a while. And one of the things that I like to use in situations like this, I mean, it depends, but you also are dealing with something that's been there for a very long time because it's bone on bone and it's chronic. And so what happens is that there can be like a pattern of pain that just is like settled into the nerves. And for that, I like to use Nerve Help. And, you know, it's got helichrysum and chamomiles and a little bit of milfoil and all of that. And it's got some antispasmodics like tarragon and things like that nature as well. But it has a couple of different kinds of sage. And sage is very fortifying because, you know, the thing with any sort of pain syndrome is it's very depleting to the body. And the more that the body is depleted, the harder it is to treat the pain. And so even the use of pain meds, you know, part of why they work is, yes, there is the, you know, the pain relieving part, the opioid that hits the brain and the nerves and all that, but part of it is they kind of give the body, give the person a little bit of energy for a little bit. You know, so if you see somebody who's on pain meds for chronic pain, they'll go, I can't really get going until I get my pain meds in me, and then I get my energy, then I can go do stuff. And so the idea a lot of times is like that the pain is the cause, which it is, but if you look at them, the spleen and the solar plexus, the navel, but especially the solar plexus is super depleted. And so by going through and treating with the Nerve Help, the sage is very soothing to the body. It's very good for the adrenals and it's fortifying and it helps to offset some of that fatigue and depletion so that it becomes a bit easier to treat. And so you might want to rotate between Nerve Help and, you know, something with a lot of blue in it, you know, so blue healer, the pain relief and inflammatory, you know, inflamed, and then yarrow, where I'm gonna sneeze, yarrow, blue chamomile, even dark blue tansy if you have it. You know, any of those work. If you're dealing with a single German chamomile or yarrow is probably your best choices, but anything with blue in it will be helpful because the blue is azulene and it's a really strong anti-inflammatory for treating pain syndromes.
okay, perfect. First of all, she's not on, she just turned 75 yesterday, and she's not on any painkillers. So she's got a, you know, she just copes with it. She doesn't take anything for it. She's just careful and such. And one thing that I noticed about her is, you know, you keep talking about presence and being in the body. 4 years ago, and what came to me was just that we were in a bus, and just like I looked at her one day, and I was like, oh, I see, because she feels more, even though with the aches and pains, but she feels more in the body now, and she feels more, she feels stronger. She is stronger. And as in the past, 4 years ago, she was younger, but she was so detached from her body. She was in, you
Right.
know, so there was a lot of shadow. So she was not present. She was
Right.
not in the body. So all the illnesses, like she was disconnected.
Right. Yeah.
So it was just a beautiful thing to notice that she's actually, the older she gets, she seems to be, I don't know, it's weird, but it's lovely. You know, she's like, yeah, the aches, she's finally feeling that. She's finally present with it,
Mhm.
and she's finally in the body,
Yeah.
accepting and choosing to be here.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. Good for her. Yeah.
I
Good for her.
brought her probably about 100 oils. The customs didn't like me very much, but they let me go. I have another question. While in Europe as well, I had to have a quick emergency surgery, but I didn't talk much about it. Is it safe to take a salt bath? It was on the 11th of October, and I had to have, gosh, what do you call that? I had some, on my uterus, I had some,
Like
they had to, sorry?
fibroids?
No. Anyway, yeah, they had to put me under general anesthesia, and they had to remove the whatever that was. I can't think of it right now. My brain is gone. So yeah, so I'm still kind of like going through the whole la la la. I haven't taken a salt bath since, and I'm craving one, but I don't really want to dive into a salt bath if I'm still kind of raw-ish, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
How long ago was the procedure?
It was on the 11th of October. Polyps, yes, thank you. Polyps, yes.
You should probably be okay. Yeah.
And what oil would you recommend in my salt bath to help with that?
What's that?
Just to help the body kind of
Yeah.
regenerate.
Helichrysum, milfoil, Roman chamomile. I would say either helichrysum or Roman chamomile. Yeah.
Okay. In the oil, just to kind of help me heal.
But like maybe
And
10 drops. Yeah, 10 drops. Like just go real
not too
light.
much.
Yeah.
Because I've been doing like, I've been taking it slow and easy. I did salt scrubs, but I was like, I'm not going in just yet. And to go on, to continue, anything to help with the hormones, like I know that Vitex bought, Vitex? Was it Vitex?
Yeah, Vitex.
Yeah. But anything to kind of, because I have endometriosis. So to kind of like,
In endometriosis, I would do tarragon and tamanu oil applied to the lower abdomen, and that brings a lot of relief. And I've had
I
several
don't have
cases,
much pain.
but still, it will bring like reduction in spasms. And I've had several cases where it's actually reduced the endometriosis. I had a couple cases where it actually cured it, but most times it reduces it. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And Vitex, do I need to do any of that
Yeah, I
to
would still do
increase?
Vitex daily.
Well, I haven't really done it. So that's
Yeah.
why it's like on the temples and the wrists.
Just on the temples is good.
Okay. Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
so
Thank you.
welcome.
Thank you.
I
Happy
need
Thanksgiving.
you too. I need
All right, we have him back.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Question. Best oils protocols to break out of old thought patterns and repetitive thinking, aka certain things that I tend to grind or obsess on.
Is it like stuff that's happening during the day? Is it stuff from the past?
Both.
Mm. Oh, repetitive thoughts. I mean, there's simple things, but this sounds like it's a little bit more than just like simple things. And one of the, there's like different ways of looking at it or different like approaches. And so, if it's, especially if it's negative things that has to do with interactions with people or, is it more about people or you're just grinding on yourself? Like maybe that could be a little bit helpful.
If you're not already, just let us know if it's more on yourself or like there. Okay, sorry, thanks. It's a person, but also kind of an aspect of myself.
Okay. I mean, okay. I mean, we have time, so let's maybe just talk this out a little bit. So on one level, you go, okay, let's knock down the repetitive thinking and things like cypress and eucalyptus and basil, all of those can help repetitive thinking, but you'll notice like it feels a little better and then it comes back. If it's just out of fatigue or the stresses of the day, it'll go away and just stay away. But when it's like because of the person or because of a pattern that the person represents, there's a little bit of trauma related to the person, even if it's not directly them. It's like they're number 15 in the pattern that everybody's been doing, and you're dealing with them, but there's been 15 others before them doing something very similar. And so one of the ways that you can look at that is use helichrysum, um, trauma relief, helichrysum, yarrow, milfoil, even Roman chamomile. But I find helichrysum is probably helichrysum or yarrow are your two best bets. And inhale on the person and then take it into the spine, like feel it in the spine. And really what you're doing is you're kind of breaking the, or you're at least addressing the pattern between the the inner world and the outer world. The outer world being them, and then how it kind of comes in. Like sometimes we have these like energetic pathways even that kind of reinstate uh, like the pattern, like we kind of go through and process it in that particular way. And so going through and doing this can be quite helpful. So a lot of times I'll start with helichrysum and then I'll work my way up to like ginger lily and or tuberose. and keep going back and forth. And keep in mind, this isn't going to be like one sitting is done. Like, you know, if it's a pattern, you're kind of going to notice that it comes up in cycles and you want to keep like knocking it down every time it comes up. But one of the things that I would say is, it's tied to instinctual responses. It's tied to like how we interact with the environment, how we interact like socially, pick up social cues. You know, it's tied to that component. And one of the ways to treat it, like when it just won't go away. You know, I've used this for myself a few times, and you know, this is going to get like kind of esoteric about it, but you're looking at it's like it's a hard thing to explain, but in the instinctual responses, it's almost like you're wanting to cultivate more virtue in the response. And I mean, I don't know that I'm going to do a great job explaining this, but basically it's not so much about the chakra. It's you know, we would call it conditioning or something like that. And really what we're talking about is how much of the chakra is like positive and how much of it is negative. And negative here being that it's being influenced by the negative spirit associated with the chakra. You know, you're trying to cultivate more of the higher spirit and vanquish the lower. And so, and here because it's instinctual responses, it's the sex chakra. And you know, you don't think of the sex chakra being a thing that can cause repetitive thinking, but when I've gone through and done some version of this, I mean, it just puts so much distance between me and the situation where it's just paying rent, and you know, I'm paying rent on it in the back of my head and I can't let it go. It's not that I'm grinding on it, it's just there. Like it's just ugh. And then if it's there, you start kind of grinding on it, right? And so what I've used is the holy name for the sex chakra, which is you know, we just used the Kabbalistic, you know, from all the chakra classes, which is Yesod. You know, that's the Kabbalistic name for it, but that Kabbalistic name is blended to the holy name of that chakra. And I don't even do a pattern. I inhale it and I just put my awareness on the sex chakra and then do it for a while and then let it stop and then do it again for a while and then let it stop. And um you know, like when I say a while, like I'll inhale it 40 or 50 times and then I'll kind of let my body just acclimate. And then in about 5 or 10 minutes, I'll do it again 40, 50 times. And then I let it process. And it's the weirdest thing. Um, Ironically, I did this last night. It's funny that you mentioned this. I think I was either picking up on you or you were picking up on me, or we had some little meeting last night in the inner worlds. But um, it 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 not just makes those thoughts go away, it makes you like super happy. Like it's just it makes you so lighthearted. And it took me a while to realize that, you know, it's not just that the heart gets activated, but the instinctual responses, more so than even the lower emotions, kind of weigh on the heart more than mm, than just like, oh, I'm upset or I have these emotions or whatever. And so the pattern that I've used, if you want to do a pattern, last night I didn't even do a pattern. I just did the sex chakra. And if you wanted to use a pattern, do sex, then navel, front heart, back heart, throat, and then crown. And repeat that. And it doesn't even have to be about the person. But if you find that doing the pattern doesn't resolve it completely, then reflect on the person and then do the yasud and then the pattern. Do you, is it somebody who would have, I don't always know who's asking, so like is it somebody who would have that blend?
Yeah, and I'm letting everyone know it's in the class, the Foundation of Creativity.
Yeah, there you go.
It was the sex chakra class.
Yeah,
and that
yeah.
oil had it in
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And for you guys, I'm putting a link in if
Yeah.
you're interested in that class or that oil.
Yeah. Do that and see how that treats you. You know, like sometimes I do it with oils and sometimes I do it with just invoking the holy name. So we're all here. Might as well do a little.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. I mean, if you guys are okay with that, who doesn't want a little? I have to look something up. Come on. Okay. Okay. Mm. So put your awareness on the sex chakra. So the positive spirits for the sex chakra are uh, the cherubim. And just be still. I just have to give myself a space. Hold on. To the cherubim, the angels. I speak to you through the ethers. Vanquish Gamael Lael from Yesod, the sex center. Vanquish Gamaliel from Yesod, the foundation. Shaddai El Jai. Shaddai El Jai. Shaddai El Jai. Cherub, vanquish Gamaliel, the obscene one. Shandai El Jai Shandai El. Just be still for a moment. Sure. Speak now to you through the ethers. Vanquish Agamalaya from the foundation. Yesud, the sex chakra. Shandai El Jai. Just let it incubate for a moment. How's that feel to you? Coming out of your throat. Whoever that was, suggest them how they feel.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. How do you feel? Like whoever that was.
Something happened in my navel.
Yeah. Like so instinctual responses, sex chakra, then the navel, then the heart, still is impacted by that. But sex chakra and navel are two spots that are heavily, I mean, those are the two centers associated with instinct. And then the heart is tied to like kind of processing it, reacting it, integrating things. The throat then starts to go and create like ideas and things. And then the crown, it's either stepping it up or stepping it down. And so when I find when I do it either with oils or with what we just did, the heart like at first the crown gets really big, like it moves up, the heart gets big, the crown gets really big, then it kind of calms down, and then the heart gets big. And so what happens is it kind of goes up, 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 and almost like out. And then like when we're trying to go up, we activate the heart and then eventually the crown, and then it goes up higher. But when the soul is dropping in information to like us, it comes in through the crown, and then the intuitive side of the mind, or the right side of the brain, and then it eventually drops into the heart. And then in the heart will start getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's I mean, it feels so nice. It's sometimes almost borderline like intoxicating, because it's almost like a little euphoric, because you're really calming down mm, the instinctive responses. And so with everything that we've been doing with the three brains, and we're working the colors, and we're working chakras, and we're doing all these things, we've really laid down like the framework to look at healing some of these issues, not so much from the point of view of a symptom, but looking at like the energetic wiring or mechanics that put us in that place. And the mechanisms of the soul, the mechanisms of the different bodies. And for the energy to come back down, it really is about this alignment between the physical body, the etheric body, the emotional body, the mental body, and the causal body. And that's why we've been talking about the medulla so much. Is the vagus nerve was more about the energy moving up. The medulla is more about the energy being able to come down and then drop down into the heart, like so energy coming down from the soul. And for that to happen, there has to be an alignment of these different bodies. And for those of you that have, treat, other people or done healings on other people, you notice you treat one person with a condition and boom, they get better really fast. And then you treat another person, they get better, but maybe not as fast. And then you treat another person, and they just don't respond at all. There could be different reasons, but usually bottom line is the different bodies aren't aligned. Like there's some what the word is to use, like just a disharmony between the different bodies that they're not completely aware of. It's not like they're trying to do it or that they're upset. It's just there's just conditioning, traumatic events, whatever it is. Like there's just this like misalignment. And the more that you put it into alignment, energies can come down and go up much easier, and it becomes easier to resolve those things. And so whenever I catch myself like in um situations where I'm like, oh God, I'm working on this thing in myself and it's just not responding. Or sometimes for me it's not even that I'm trying to treat a particular thing. It might be I'm sitting down in meditation and it doesn't feel like anything's happening. Like, I'm like om, you know, and I'll go back through, and it's a hard thing to scan for, but you kind of can a little bit. But then if I go through and treat the medulla, and then I sit down and go om, then I take off, right? And so you could think of like when we're trying to, it's not even that we're releasing the issue with the person or the situation or the pattern. It's that it's integrated, that it's uh, there's a oneness there that starts with the expansion. Even with a person, for you to really be able to release whatever that is, there has to be a certain degree of oneness for there to be the expansion of light that then evolves us out of those situations. And so this process can also be done for something like that, just like what we'll be doing in the medulla class here in about a week and a half. And even in that class, if you've seen the kit, it's very simple. It's not like this big evolved thing, where we're going deeper, and as you go deeper, it doesn't get more complicated, it gets less complicated. And some of these things that we're talking about like right now is going to be a building block for how we do healing. um as we roll into the next year, is we're going to be taking pieces from all the things we've done and then applying it in ways that the logical mind would just never put two and two together. Like even this idea of this, logical mind wouldn't put two and two together. And so a couple minutes has gone by. How is that person
I'm
feeling?
glad you asked. So the cycle so far that they've let us know, they were feeling better in general and got more relaxed. Then almost quickly after started to feel a lot of emotion stirring. And then now I'm feeling pain in the heart.
Front heart, back heart? Is it front heart or back heart?
Front.
Front. And like a family member, boyfriend, girlfriend, friend.
They said almost like a physical heart pain, an ex-girlfriend.
Uh, do more of the thing with the person and then the spine. If that doesn't seem to resolve it, take something like helichrysum and then do the aspects of the will. Oh, actually, instead of helichrysum, use ginger lily. Do the basic, then the front solar plexus, back solar plexus, and then the ajna, and then the crown. And then after the crown, go to the throat and then let go. Is this person still in your life or not in your life? Or
Not really.
okay, but it's still just in there. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah. Are they in a place where we'd be doing a Melong anytime soon?
Unless
No,
they wanted to come up to one of the classes.
they're not in one of theirs. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Do this and see how it feels, and then we'll kind of go from there. Yeah.
And then just other people even shared how they were feeling.
Yeah, let's hear that too.
too.
Yeah, yeah.
Someone said lots in the throat now.
Yeah.
And then they, like a few minutes later, were like, oh, crown too, but the throat is talking, LOL.
Yeah, it's not like how we think of like, oh, it's gonna expel or it's gonna activate. It's like it goes through this like cycle of something. You know, your physiology, your emotions, your mind, it all is kind of processing something to like move past it. You know.
And then for that person, it's both things. So the ginger lily's the second pattern, and then the first is that first thing we did. Is that correct?
I would do the thing that we just did with the holy name, like you said from the class. I would do ginger lily, both with the person and then into the spine. And then after you've done that for a little while, then I continue with ginger lily, and I do the basic solar plexus, back solar, ajna, crown, and then throat. And the reason the throat's not part of the will, but the throat is part of like the free will, and it's like kind of like how you calibrate your will to respond to this. And so usually when we respond or something like it's lingering in your head, it's more stuck in either the basic or the front and back solar plexus. And then the throat, like you're unwinding it in the will, but then the throat allows the calibration to go up a little bit higher and either process it through the ajna or through the crown, and it makes it easier to process and let go later. You know, 5 minutes, 10 minutes later, and so do follow those steps and then see how that does. You might need to do it a few times, especially if it was somebody you spent a lot of time with, had a strong emotional connection, or it was really emotionally upsetting, or there has been a lot of repetitive thoughts, because you're also dealing with, the thing with the sex chakras, you're dealing with divine intelligence, which is based on cycles. And so it'll come up, you'll release it or, move past it. And then all of a sudden you go, oh, I feel so much better. And then like 2 weeks later, it pops up again. Is because it's also going in a cycle. So you just need to kind of keep doing it to keep knocking it down out of that cycle. Yeah.
And go ahead, Sonia. Did you have a question or share? Yeah.
Does your old sadness and grief, does it also have rose or carnation in it?
It has rose. Yeah.
Can you use that instead of ginger lily too?
Yeah, it should work. Yeah, sure. Yeah, if I remember right, it's got cypress and marjoram and rose.
This
There was
isn't
one
your
version that had a little bit of wormwood in it as well, I think.
okay.
Yeah,
And
it should work. Yeah, it should
the
work.
one that came later, it doesn't have smell like that sweet. I don't know what
Yeah,
did you
that's
change.
probably the version with the wormwood. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Well, I've got them all.
yeah. Rotate it through all of them. Yeah.
And I just want to make sure I get all these questions here. I think we had another one. It was about myrrh.
Sure.
Let me just think we're good to on that. Is myrrh best as a topical or ingested?
Depends on what you're trying to do. Maybe give me an idea of what you're trying to do or what you're trying to treat.
See if there's still
Either way, it should work. But pain syndromes, I usually use them more internal. For stimulating the glands, I use it more internal. Pain syndromes and cleaning up the tissue, more topical. Physicalizing spiritual energy could go either way, internal or topical. So,
kind of what it's for, but I think that kind of
yeah,
covers.
kind of covered it. Yeah.
So that's good. And we have a few more minutes. If you want to do another protocol or keep working on that other one, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, let's maybe be sassy and do that thing we just did.
Mhm.
Yeah. So let's do this. Like, we're bringing sassy back. Right? Is it sassy or spicy? I
We're
can't
bringing
remember.
sassy.
Sassy back. It's back.
Next year's spicy.
Yeah. Okay, so how about if you have the blend Yasud, grab that. But if you don't, Lang Lang or frankincense or kava kava. What else can we use there? Or ginger lily or tuberose. Let's see what you have. Kind of an interesting little study group tonight. Kind of went off the rails a little bit, but that's okay.
Let's see.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Great. So we're going to do the pattern a couple of times and then I'll do the holy name again. Okay, so begin inhaling whichever oil you're using. Your awareness is on the sex chakra. Nice, long, slow, deep breath. And then move your awareness to the navel. Long, slow, deep breath with your awareness to the navel. And then go to the front heart. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths with the front heart. And then move your awareness to the back heart. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths with your awareness on the back heart. Your awareness is on the throat. And then the top of your head. Pause and be still for a moment. Let's do that again. Your awareness is on the sex chakra. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Move your awareness to the navel. The front heart. Back heart, the area between the shoulder blades. And then the throat. Your awareness is on the throat. And then the crown. And then just be still. Just be still. Just be still. Okay, keep your eyes closed. Speak to you through the ethers, to the cherubim. Thank you for vanquishing the Gamalaya. Thank you for vanquishing. Should I? Yeah. Jai. Should I? Yeah. Jai. Just let go. Let's maybe get a little feedback, see how that treated a couple people, especially the person who had the repetitive thoughts or the grinding on the one person.
And you can type in, you can unmute yourself for any shares, feedback. Anybody can share though.
Yeah,
Just-
yeah,
just
it's not just
yeah. And I did make it so you can unmute yourself. That person said, not sure yet, still feeling upset, maybe slightly more distant from.
through the part of the spine. Yeah. Sounds like there's more trauma there than we realize. You know, think of the person and go to the spine. You know, sometimes we're not wanting to release the situation because we still are wanting some sort of resolution or something. So the going back and forth between the person and the spine can help with that. So
And go ahead, Donita.
hey, Donita. Hey.
So, wow, that was a treat. Still my throat is talking to me, but interesting that when we on the front heart, I expanded, I went somewhere. It's just so quick. It was just so quick that it just so quick and it was just so interesting. Unfortunately, I brought myself back and I was like, where are we? Why is he silent? Did I miss? So I opened my eyes because I was like, where, you know, did I miss the bus? Are you done? Are we done?
I missed the bus. That's funny.
So, yeah, that was just, so what would that be like in the heart space? Just relaxed and just like it just went
Like I said, it's
somewhere.
like you're cultivating the potential for like virtue and true ideas and morality, and you know, it's not that you're lacking that, but it's regulating the sex chakra to a much higher degree so that those instinctive responses by the time they get the heart are very different. And it's very, you know, if you do this on a regular basis, it's very blissful. Like I said, almost like intoxicating. You just, you know, like intoxicating in a way that's like euphoric is a way is like
I
you
have
just
felt that.
yeah, it's
I
just
was kind
you take off, like, and you come back and you're like, I love you guys. I love all you guys. Like it's, I mean, it's kind of almost a euphoric feeling.
Sam, can you hear this? Can you please cut this and send it to us, please, please, please?
We'll get it edited for you guys. I agree.
Yeah,
Because this is like we all need euphoric, especially after this November thing.
yeah, no joke.
Yeah, yeah, thank you.
You're so welcome.
And then someone else said, feels like a lot of graceful energy moving between the
Mhm.
heart, throat, ajna, and crown.
Grace is a good way of saying it. Yeah. So we gotta go over to the star prayer petitions if you want to join us, and we'll do a little bit more blessing out. And if not, uh, may your Uncle Bob's all be blessed, and you gotta along with them at least a little bit for the next day or two. And then happy Thanksgiving, and this weekend's off, but next week we're back to our Tuesday, Wednesday night thing. And then the medulla class, medulla and the vagus nerve, um, the beginning of December, which is just right around the corner. So happy holiday, you guys. Take care.